Good afternoon. It is a beautiful day down on the river, and I thought, what better day to come out? It is a Monday, but it's a holiday, so I get the day off. What better day to come out and look for some agates, look for some garnets, look for some gold. Hopefully we can find all three of those things. I've actually already found 4 pretty cool agates in the Dollar Tree parking lot on the way down here. That's fun. And what's this? Coal. That's cool. I'll put that in my bucket. So follow along. We'll probably start off by going to the gold spot and digging some holes, finding some gold and some garnets there, and then maybe do a little agate hunt. So hope you guys enjoy. I am losing my voice. That's why I sound a little bit funny. So hopefully it doesn't go away altogether. Already finding agates on the way. Felt something digging in my armpit. And it's one of these burrs. I don't know how it got there. But also found, while we're at it, 3 more agates. Already. Sweet. Haven't even gotten to the gold spot yet. What I'm gonna do today is fairly simple. I'm just gonna do kind of a shotgun approach. So I'll probably take about a half a bucket of material from different locations and just pan it down pretty fast. See what has good gold, see what has good garnets, and yeah, hopefully we'll be able to kind of figure out a little bit better where certain different things are. So, that's the goal. We're gonna start digging here, and should be good to go. Start where I think there's good garnets, which is right here. So we're gonna be digging here, and yeah, let's dig. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I'm in the same location, and it's under a road. So I apologize for the noise, but you know, we'll just keep on digging, keep on going after the gold. You can't choose where the gold is. Part of the reason I'm digging right here is just the way the pillars, the water forms around the pillars, it deposits a lot of heavy material. So all the garnets, which are heavy, and the gold, which is heavy, get deposited behind that. And then the gold especially is deposited in there's multiple layers of black sand throughout all of this sand. If you dig a vertical wall straight down, you can see like a 1-inch layer of black sand, and then a couple inches of blonde sand, and a 1-inch layer of black sand, a couple inches of blonde sand. So yeah, that's what we're looking for the gold and for the garnets. One of the issues I run into out here is there's a fair amount of loose dogs. So if you're gonna come out and do kind of this stuff, just be aware you may run into some people's dogs, and usually it's not a problem, it's not an unpleasant experience, but sometimes they're a little bit scary, especially the larger breeds. So just be aware of that as you're out and about exploring these things. Be prepared. One thing I've found when you're panning an area with really heavy black sands, or tons and tons of black sand, is while you got your end material here, you're trying to bring stuff back, it brings back just the tiniest layer off the top, and that's not preferable. So if you wanted to move a little more material a little quicker without just shaking your pan, I take my fingers and I drum on the bottom of the pan as it's coming back. You can see it shifts the material, in my estimation, about twice as fast using the vibrations, and it just helps you process your black sand a lot quicker. You see a lot of garnets in here. I'm not worried about losing any of this because I'm just going to chuck it all into a yogurt container with my concentrates, and I can reprocess it later. I just want to see if there's any gold in here, which I see some shiny, but it might have been a yellow garnet. It looks a little different. Woo! Sticking my butt in the water. Alright, there's no gold in there, but there were garnets. And that's kind of what I was expecting from that spot. Let's get that in the yogurt container. And let's do another pan. With the gold like this, is this fine? You really want to, when you're washing the pan out, you really want to avoid the water coming all the way up to the back line here, because the gold will sometimes sit back here, and if you're letting it swirl up like that, it'll just pick the gold up and it'll float right off the surface into the river. And that's not what you want. And back, tons of black sand. Some ironstone in there. Once again, no gold in that section. Now I did that really aggressive, so there's room for error. But we'll put this in the yogurt container, and we'll go to the spot that I know is gold, has gold in it. How about that? This is those black sand layers I was telling you about. So you can see there's just like a layer of blonde on top, and then this layer of sand going down. And if you dig down more, sometimes, oh, I don't see one right now, but sometimes there's another layer. So that is what we're looking for. So I kind of tend to scrape some of the stuff off the top and then try to just scrape that black sand layer. I'm just scraping through this layer here. Check out all this black sand in here and in here. Now, this is gonna make it a pain to process, but I've got time and I can do it at home. There's some neat rocks in here, but yeah, look at this. So it's like straight sand, no gravels, and then it hits this black sand layer, and there's all these gravels mixed in, which is perfect, just perfect conditions for finding this gold. So let's scrape this stuff up and get it in the bucket. Just gonna keep scraping until I don't see the black sand underneath. That's pretty neat. Yep, there we go. That's a half bucket. All right. The main reason for doing half buckets is that I don't have to carry 100 pounds of sand back and forth to the river in my bucket. Who wants to do that? All right, I brought 2 yogurt containers, so I'm gonna separate these concentrates into 2 separate containers. Probably lost enough garnets there. Let's just, holy smokes, look at all that sand in there. That's a lot. All right. This section, it's so funny how they divide it into garnets and gold sections. That just shows you the importance test canning. You might have, oops, there's a piece of gold. I don't know if you can see it. It's shining right there in the corner. Don't worry, I'll get close-ups of all this later. I realize it's small and microscopic. Whoop, didn't even open up. Here we go. Alright. The day is a success. We got gold. Here I am. There's 2 more pieces in here. One right there and one right there. I'm just happy to be on the river, and I'm happy to be finding gold. Finished that gold. I found about 10 more specks, plus whatever I missed in the concentrates, so we'll process that at home. What I'm gonna do now is go back to the garnet spot, since I know that there's not really gold there, and I'm gonna dig those and I'm gonna saruka those to kind of concentrate those, and then I'm gonna take a bucket of the other sand where the gold is home and process that at home. So I think that'll be the most efficient use of my time here. So we're gonna dig under the garnet pillar and yeah, cool. Get some garnets. Got my bucket here. It's quite full, so very heavy, so I'm out of breath. And I think my saruka's in here. Yep. And I'm actually gonna go behind the pillar because I need some really calm water to do this. It's a little bit better. So it'll be kind of hard to show in the sun, which is a bummer. But we'll just concentrate this down real fast. What I'll do is I'll put it through there into the pan still. The gold person in me is like, man, I'm gonna miss out if I do drop gold in the river. It's not worth it. All right, I'm just gonna let it drop in the river if there is gold in there. A little bit muddy right here. Large garnet, so that's what we're going for there, about that much. I'm going to stratify it in the pan. I'm going to scrape off a couple of the top layers. About right. Dump it all. That is a lot. Alright, so simple process. You setting it on top of the water, and you're kind of bouncing up and down, you'll see bubbles flowing through. That helps the sand go through. That's what we want to get rid of. And then with a larger sand, we want to concentrate. So we've got a lot of material on here. It would be helpful if I had a lip on this thing, but just haven't gotten one, or made one yet. So I'm gonna pulse. You can see it centers it. That puts the heavy stuff in the middle. Then I'm actually gonna let it spread out. Pulse again. I'm gonna turn it, pulse it. spread it, turn it, pulse it, turn it. So what that's doing is it's forming this little circle in the middle underneath of all the heavy concentrates. And that is what we're wanting. See how the bubbles start coming up through there? That's what I want. I want those bubbles coming up through. That helps the little sands fall through the cerruca, because I want to get rid of those. And I'm going to take this, I'm not going to do them all in the sun, because that's a long walk, like 20 feet. But I'm going to take this over to the sun so you guys can see it a bit. And hopefully, there's some nice garnets in here. Alright, that looks like we're good. Nice in there. So there should be just a ring of garnets along the bottom of this thing. So I've got a nice flat surface right here. And if you have one with a lip and you got a lot of material, it's important how you flip it. Generally, you want to flip it away from you and then straight down, just because it's got a handle and it's just a thingy. The main thing is it's got to go straight down, like that. And then you can see in the middle there's a little circle of darker material. If you look real close, I'll pull you close. You can see the dark material in the middle. And then all throughout there are garnets that you can see. So what we'll do is we'll just, with our fingers, so we'll just scoop this up, this little center, that's really all we need, and into the container. And since, you know, it's an imperfect process, I see some garnets. I'm just gonna look a little bit. Looks good. All right, that's it. That's the whole process. So I'm gonna do that like 6 more times over there. All right, I've got my last bucket of sand concentrated, sifted out nicely. So let's go home and process it. We'll see you at home. Here and put water in. All right, I've got all of that material processed down to just a teaspoon or so of basically black sand and a little bit of gold. So let's go ahead and get it in the pan and get it sand out. See how much we got. Hopefully we'll have a nice little golden smile. Got some nice clean water in the pan. I put some soap in it to keep the surface tension. As you can see, my panning water was getting a little dirty. It is getting a little dirty. So it was time to use some with the hose. You can see how clean it is. You can see that tree reflecting there, very nice. And the little girl. All right, here, we're gonna get this in here. Always a bit of a process getting this, all the sand out of this. Oh, looks like it got most of it. Nice. All right. All right. Once you got this panned down to the little fine pieces, here we go. Not too bad at all. You can
count the specks even. I don't know, go for it, count it. Let me know how many there are in the comments. I'm gonna get that sucked up, dried out. We'll look at it under a microscope, see what they look like as always. And then we're gonna get some of the good garnets and take a look at those. As always, those are fun to look at as well. Arkansas River treasures. Kind of cool. The surface tension on the water forms a magnifying glass itself in the bottom of the vial.
I've just selected some of the better, chunkier garnets, as well as a nice little color variety. And also I keep seeing these little perfect, look at that one in the middle. They're like perfect beads, really round. They're usually clear. And I can only assume it's some sort of glass or something. But I love the oranges and the pinks and the deep reds in all of this. Just super fun finding little treasure. Right here on our local river. Let's take a look at the gold next under this microscope. I'm trying out a little trick here. I've got all the gold in a bubble of water, and it just makes it much easier for me to manage. But I'm not sure if it'll make it easier for you to see. But here you can see that's about as focused as I can get it with this water. It's really small still. But we found quite a few pieces, which is fun. Oh, there's a bubble taking over there. Drying out. Alright. And now I won't focus because I can't get close enough in this pan. I pulled the microscope off. There you can see it all separated there. There's a bubble of water. I kind of shoved it out of the way. Well, thanks for watching. It's always fun to find some treasure in Kansas, no matter how small. At the time of posting, we're already off recording our next video, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on more. But I hope you enjoyed. Bye.